We live in a time where many different causes and initiatives have been kicked off in the hope of upskilling people so that they can have a better chance of succeeding at different avenues in life. So, I thought, do you know what? Let me teach you one of the few skills that I have that will no doubt prove helpful to you moving forward. And that skill is how to talk shit the right way. Now, some of you loose cannons out there might think you're the shit at talking shit, but let me be clear, you're probably shite. Talking shit isn't supposed to be just an uncontrolled, rapid splurge of random insults encapsulating anything and everything towards another person. Such a way can be dangerous for oneself and others. If you're doing it the right way, it's a lot more sophisticated and controlled than that. Talking shit is an art, one which we all need to learn for the sake of self-preservation. On that note, I know there might be a lot of sensitive Sallys in the comment section saying, "Listen here, you reprehensible alcoholic leprechaun looking twat. How dare you teach the young'uns out there how to weaponize their vocabulary recklessly, you bitch." And the two things I want to say to that remark is, one, that was a pretty sweet insult Sally met. And two, to Sally's point, there are certain rules of engagement you have to follow in order to say you talk shite the right way. And the right way in this case is what I would like to call an honourable exchange. Engaging in an exchange while breaking the rules of engagement will have you brandished a prick, and nobody likes a prick. So with that being said, let me walk you through the rules of engagement. The rules of engagement. Number 1. When flaming friends, don't cross their genuine boundaries, otherwise you're a prick. Number 2. When dealing with people you don't like, don't initiate the exchange. If you get into trouble because of an exchange, you can simply say you were standing up for yourself. That's why it's important. Self-preservation, lads. Don't go looking for the wrong kind of trouble if it's not necessary. And 3. If you give shit, you gotta be able to take shit. Are the rules of an exchange clear? Kind of? Good enough. Now for the fun part. How to talk shit. When it comes to the art of talking shit, there's 3 main fundamental pillars you need to be mindful of. The first pillar being, what to target. You can look at this pillar as the ammo to your exchange. Examples of what to target might be relationships, a person's style, accomplishments or lack of, their height, etc. etc. The beauty about it is, anything and everything within the rules of engagement and some level of human decency can be used as something to target. When you don't know someone too well, you go off the little bit you do know, which is typically, for example, their appearance and perceived high-level personality. The more you learn about somebody, the more things you technically have to use during your exchange, like the ones I gave you earlier. It's pretty simple, mate. The second pillar is what way you deliver your dose of shite. Most people, especially beginners, will be better off with a blunt or more direct approach when it comes to talking shit so they can get used to it. An example would be, if you want to tell someone their clothes look shite, you simply say that. Pretty straightforward. The more experienced shit talkers out there might feel like such an approach is too easy and desire to add a little bit more complexity to their exchanges for better crack. An example would be to not bluntly say their clothes are shite, but to insinuate it. So in this particular example, such a person might say, "You look alright, but I've seen better." This requires the receiver of such shite talk being able to interpret the insinuated diss, which doesn't always happen because most of us are dumb as fuck. Such insinuations can make exchanges far more enjoyable, especially amongst your friends. This approach can also be a great way of communicating what you want to say when a delicate touch is needed. For example, when you're surrounded by other people, particularly sensitive people, when chatting shite. Another element of this pillar is the tone in which you communicate your shite. Typically, you're going to be harsher with your tone when dealing with enemies, but if you and your friends can take it, fair enough. However, there will be times when a softer approach is needed. It's on you to judge when each way is appropriate, mate. The third and last pillar is all about how far you go with your exchange. Basically, it's all about depth. For example, the better your friendship is with someone, the further you'll likely be able to go with your insults. You'll probably not care too much about going too far when it comes to someone you dislike, since you're less likely to care if you hurt them than say a friend, but do carry yourself with at least a modicum of class when exchanging with someone like this. We're all people after all. Well, most of us. The more you know about someone, the more knowledge you probably have about their sensitive shit. How much of this knowledge you choose to use in an exchange is a judgment call you have to make given who you're dealing with and the context of your situation. To conclude, talking shit is an art, one we can keep refining no matter how long or good we are at it. The The pillars I mentioned previously should help you in your journey to growing your shite talking skill set, or at least help with refining it. Remember, it's fun to talk shite in general, but don't cross genuine boundaries. You might think it's funny, but it's genuinely not. You can lose a lot when you use this art the wrong way. For example, friends, family, and a small bit of dignity you might have. Use this art form well, and above all, you have a responsibility to not be a prick.